Hello, I'm Paul Ferguson. With me is Richard Beaupre. Welcome to Switzerland for the Pool A World Ice Hockey Championships. Today on Eurosport, we feature Czechoslovakia and the USA.
Well, the U.S. are a bit of an unknown commodity out here tonight. They've got a young team, Tim Taylor, with a lot of experience as a coach out there, both on the international scene, the Olympics and university.
Well, the Czechs are here, as I said, and they have a lot of experience. Pavel Woll has worked hard over the years to bring his team right to this tournament, right at their peak. They were third in 1989, second in the European Championships in the same year, and second in the Izvestia tournament in 89, sixth in the 88 Olympics.
The U.S. have had their share of international challenges here. With this put-together team that Tim Taylor's got, they'll be going all out tonight. Their past has been as far as sixth in the 89 World Championships. They were seventh in the 88 Olympics. The United States were the world champions in 1960, so it's been a while for them.
Youth against experience. Let's take a look at the results in the tournament so far. Canadians over the West Germans 5-1. The Soviets swamped the Norwegians 9-1, and the Swedes edging out the Finns 4-2. It's going to be a close tournament. It's going to be a fast one. Well, the Canadians, as I said, had a good start, 5-1 over West Germany. Let's take a look at the goals in that game. This one, a bit of a giveaway. Eiserman and Tocchet combining for number one.
Nice individual effort by Rick Tocchet out there. Very unselfishly dumped the puck off to Steve Eiserman and put it in the goal without any mistake. A lazy pass coming off the stick of the German defenseman. Rick Tocchet, with all the work, sets him up for the goal.
Well, the second goal for Canada came here with Coffey going down the ice. Now watch the defender's stick. He deflects that into the back of the net. Adams gets credit for it, makes it 2-0. An unfortunate one for West Germany.
Well, these are nightmares for a goaltender. When the puck goes off his own defenseman's stick, he's going one way, the puck went the other way. Not a chance for the goaltender, DeRaff.
Canadians again with Tocchet and Eiserman here. This time it's Tocchet who puts it in the back of the net to make it 3-0 for Canada.
Once again, Steve Eiserman and Rick Tocchet doing a marvelous job out there together. Rick Tocchet with all the hustle in the world, playing with Stevie Eiserman, who's a brilliant playmaker, makes no mistake here.
So the Canadians looking strong. Tocchet now on a breakaway. Look at that, right upstairs, right under the crossbar. Impossible for a goaltender to stop. 4-0 for the Canadians.
Well, when you keep skating, things like this are bound to happen, and Rick Tocchet never stops. He makes no mistake on the breakaway here.
The West Germans throughout the game had their chances, and eventually Steiger put it in the net. He comes here, picks up the loose puck, has a lot of time on it, and the goaltender lets it slip between the pads, 4-1.
The Germans kept trying to apply pressure, but really couldn't penetrate that Canadian defense. They were shooting the puck from anywhere, and it paid off here. There's a couple of bounces. McLean maybe a bit relaxed out there. The puck gets through his legs.
So a capacity crowd with a lot of German support enjoying that one. The Canadians back on the attack. Craven tipping it in. Pass coming over from Eiserman on the right wing, 5-1, and that's how it finished.
Once again, Tocchet, Craven, Eiserman doing a great job out there together. Craven moves the puck over to Eiserman. He lets everybody shift, holds on to the puck, dumps it back to Craven for the touch.
So a good finish by Canada. Coming up, Czechoslovakia against USA. Join us in a moment. We're going to have an exciting one. It's going to be fast. The teams are coming out now. First period starting in a moment. Welcome back to the Pool A World Ice Hockey Championships from Switzerland. As you can see, the teams are out on the ice. The Americans on the left, the Czechs on the right, and this is going to be quite an encounter. As we said, the Czechs are an experienced side, the Americans a bit of an unknown quantity. Let's take a look at the lineups for Czechoslovakia. Petr Bríza and Dominik Hasek, two of the best goaltenders in Europe. Leo Gudas, Bozek, Srba, and Prohacka on defense. Staviana, one of my favorites. Keep your eye on Dolezal and Kuchera up front, along with Krohn and Seeger. Reichel is a new boy wearing Ruzicka's sweater number 17. Ruzicka still in the NHL. Polak, Yager, Dolana, Jelinek, Lubina, and Hasek. They've all been around for a while. They all know what to do and when to do it.
Well, Coach Tim Taylor for the U.S., he's going with a young team who've been a combination of NHL experience as well as college. He's got William Pye and John Blue as his goaltenders. He's got the experience in Guy Goslin on defense. Gregory Brown, who's an outstanding college star at Boston. He's got James Johnson, Jeffrey Norton, of course, from the New York Islanders. He's got Danton Cole, Kip Miller, Robert Reynolds, who all last year played at Michigan State. Tom O'Regan, experienced international player who plays in Landshut, West Germany. Joe Sacco and Kevin Stevens, McSwain, Fritz, they're all young players who are very determined, and I'm sure they're going to give it their best out there tonight. The U.S. are going to have to apply a lot of pressure.
Well, the Americans, I think it's fair to say, are still waiting for the Stanley Cup playoffs to go down the road so they can get some players over here.
Well, as teams are dropping by the wayside in the NHL playoffs, I'm sure that Coach Taylor's looking to get help, possibly with the likes of Housley, Otto, Ranheim. There's some names floating around that could be coming over.
So we get set for the opening face-off. The Americans in the dark blue playing from left to right. Czechoslovakia on the puck right away. You're going to see some sharp passing from them, possibly two different styles of hockey out there. The Americans, a lot of rough play, punch and grab stuff. The Czechs, they can do it, but they have a tendency to throw up the long passes. Now, Hasek flipping it over on the right wing. Jagger leaving it behind the goal. We have Dominik Hasek in goal and William Pye for America. Hasek, for my money, is the best goaltender in Europe. Brija, his backup, is an excellent backup. The long shot right on the target. Otto Hasek getting some wood on that. Testing Pye between the pipes. The long shot there, easily handled by William Pye. No problems for him. Kuchera goes into the face-off circle, going up against Galliani.
Well, the Americans are going to try and dump that puck in and forecheck. That's a lot of the college style of play that Tim Taylor will probably be implementing out there. He's got a lot of college kids, and he's probably going to be having them try to go after the Czechs and forecheck them hard because there's so much experience on this Czech team, and they control the puck so well.
Kuchera, the shot right on the target from Dolana. Gudas goes in after it. It's pushed along the boards, and it's still not away. So from the opening face-off here, it's the Czechs applying the pressure. Dolana shooting it around. Kuchera tied up along the boards, gets it right out front, and the Americans back on the attack now. A long shot coming from Josef Sacco. And we have a whistle on the play. Hasek getting his first taste of this rubber.
Well, Joe Sacco, he's a big man. He's got the big shot. Hasek without a lot of trouble on that one. Of course, he's seen a lot of shots.
So the face-off to the right of Hasek as he looks down the ice. The Americans trying to get that shot away, but Reynolds just didn't come off. It's still not away. Punched over to Fritsch. A backhand shot. Hasek drops it and pushes it forward. The Americans applying the pressure now, going after it. Dolezal, delayed penalty on the play. Hasek has come out of his cage, and they have 6 attackers on. Well, they could have done more with it than that. That pass, 2 men on the right wing, no one picked it up. The penalty, first penalty of the game going against the Americans. Reynolds, number 11, pops into the penalty box for 2 minutes.
Well, that occurred along the boards as the goaltender Hasek had moved the puck to the boards. The 2 players went in together pretty hard, and the referee was right on the call.
You see on the slow motion replay there what occurred along the boards, and the Americans now with a man short flip it all the way down the ice. Baka takes his time to give it to Yuri Dolezal. Dolezal flips it on the left wing. Hostek behind the net to Dahlqvist. He gets it as far as the blue line. Kochatska flips it in the corner. Still Czechoslovakia. Power play effort here. Going after it is number 3, Christopher Dahlqvist. No real penetration there from the Czechs on that play as Cole shoots it down the ice. The Americans given time behind their own net to get rid of that. That's a bit of a giveaway right in front of the net. And back come the Czechs. 2-line pass. Offside call, so we'll have a face-off where that pass originated. Still no score here in the first period. Czechoslovakia in a power play situation. The Pool A championships well and truly underway here in Switzerland. The Canadians and the Soviets off to a good start. McSwain wins the draw and pushes that one into the far corner. Gudas for Czechoslovakia, headmanning it nicely. Pollock right in front, the shot. Oh, a nice save. Coming off Jäger. A good save there by William Pye. Got the glove to it. Jäger perfectly positioned right in front of the net.
Well, it was good work from the Czech forwards as Reichel threw that pass over. Right into the glove, though, on the quick wrist shot coming from the slot. Jäger got it away quick. You can see he's really being tied up here. Reichel, he gets a pass over. The man is in the slot. Pye does well to come up with that one.
Some good work there by Robert Reichel for Czechoslovakia. Staviana. Staviana wants it back. Pushed into the corner. Staviana, oh, that trickles out over the blue line. Well, the whistle eventually blew. He was hoping that the linesman wouldn't see that. Offside is the call.
Well, the Czechs seem very relaxed here. They're just very nonchalantly and lazily throwing that puck around. It's not what we expected to see from the start of this game.
37 seconds remaining in the penalty. Just over 3 minutes gone in the first period. Still no score. Staviana. Czechs always looking for that long pass. Serban working his way right in. The shot. Steered away. Still it's not out as Crone loses out to O'Regan, and that's dumped all the way down the ice. Serban. Gudas. Coming back now. Hasek takes a shot. The rebound. And again, it's Pye who gets there first. Hasek doing a great job of putting a lot of pressure on the Americans' defense. The shot coming right in. Takes a deflection. And it's pushed away on the break now. The shot on Hasek. Coming from Robert Reynolds as he stepped on the ice. And Hasek, a good save. Goslin shoots that one behind the net. Seeger now for Czechoslovakia bounces that off the woodwork. The Americans changing on the fly here. Hasek for Czechoslovakia. Flipping it forward too far for Dolana. The Americans having problems in the neutral zone. Kuchera. Still Kuchera. Flips that to no one in particular. Now the Americans back on the attack. Pass hit a skate. Picked up at the blue line. Kuchera called for it in the high slot area. It just didn't come. Jeff Norton. Norton, who's been around, seen it and done it. Kuchera scores! Kuchera, number 14, was left all alone in front of the net. It wasn't a hard shot, but it was strong enough to get by the goaltender. That's the first one for Czechoslovakia.
Well, the Americans were very sloppy coming out of their own zone here as the play totally broke down. They're all caught on one side of the ice. The forwards are out way too high. Kuchera manages to slip the puck underneath Pye for the first goal. There you see it again. The pass is coming over. There's 3 Americans out of position here. Kuchera's behind them all. It's all it took was one step and a quick shot, and it's underneath Pye for the first goal.
Dolana backhands this right over, right on the stick there. Kuchera makes it 1 for Czechoslovakia. Nice little pass there coming from Dolana. Brown gets away in the corner, but still the puck is held in by Czechoslovakia. Dolezal flips that behind the net. A sharp from an impossible angle there. Pye coming up with the save.
Oh, you can see the Americans are having a lot of trouble trying to get out of their own zone here.
Well, it's 1-0 for Czechoslovakia over USA. We're going to take a break now. Join us in a moment for the first period. Welcome back. 1-0 the score, Czechoslovakia over USA. Ketchmer, Seeger flipping that on the wing to Hasek. Hasek getting it across. The whistle blew for offside. The Czechs scoring at the 5-minute mark with Dolana feeding that pass to Kuchera.
Well, play really hasn't opened up here yet. It's really a bump and grind type game out there. Both teams trying to put passes together.
So from the face-off here, Kuchera back in the action. Kuchera now going to do it on his own. Taken off his stick by Reynolds. Miller working his way in, drops it back, and who's there but Kuchera? Yuri Kuchera goes around one man, flips it over to the far side. Lubina pops it behind the net. The Americans having problems getting out of their own zone. The Czechs looking so confident here in the early stages, not giving a lot away, playing two-way hockey. A nice little move there by Kuchera. I have a feeling you're going to hear his name a lot. Miller stopped at the blue line. Prohatska, big defenseman who wears number 9, flips that across in front of Pye. Brown. Galliani stopped by Serban. Pushed out lazily along the boards as the teams change up on the fly, and we'll have a face-off.
Well, as the Americans change here, Tim Taylor's got to be having a word with them. These forwards are way out too high. They're standing out by the center ice line. The defense are having an awful lot of trouble trying to get that puck out. The Czechs are staying in their position, and they're just cutting the passes off and moving it right back into the American zone.
The whole idea, of course, is that you break as a unit. If you're out over the blue line, it's going to be difficult to get the passes out to you.
We'll get a look at the American power play here as the Czechs were caught on that, trying to get that line change a little bit too quickly. They had too many men on the ice. The referee was right on the spot as the puck went by the Czech bench.
Jelinek will go into the penalty box for Czechoslovakia. 2-minute penalty. Leaves them a man short. Reagan on the wing, looking to take that pass. Eventually it's fed to him, but he's squeezed out by Dolezal. Serban against the boards. Serban can't contain it. It bounces behind the net to Dolezal. Dolezal gets it as far as the neutral zone. Pushed back in by America. Stevens now loses control, and the Czechs with a lot of time to flip that down the ice.
Well, the Czechs aren't letting them set it up, and the Americans seem very nonchalant with their passes out there. They aren't going to get that puck and control it this way.
Brown checked out of the plate. Some good work there by Hollick. Two-line pass, and really the Americans seem to be totally out of position. Not too far ahead for that play.
Well, the forwards are not skating away from the play at all. They're all standing out near that red line, as we mentioned before, and they're not creating any openings for the defense to move the puck up to them.
Taylor there talking to his players as Reichel kicks it back. Dahlquist. Americans still haven't had a shot on goal in this power play situation. Flipping in now is the American side, but Gudas gets his elbows up and his stick in there. Still, it's not out. Coming in on the backhand side, Reynolds couldn't get the shot away. It's tipped over the far side. Reichel goes after it. Backhanded in and eventually punched out by the Czechs. The Americans have to do it all over again. Reynolds now drops it back, intercepted nicely by Reichel, and flipped out into the neutral zone, and the Czechs now have a break. Coming down on goal, Gudas takes a shot. The save is there, right out front again, Kuchera. Well, some good work by Pai and the Americans with this power play situation. Not doing much with it. Crone getting it up on the wing. Jelinek is back on the ice. The Czechs are back at full strength.
Well, they certainly didn't make much of that power play. They've got to get together and play more as a unit.
Johnson lost control of that. Seeger goes after it. Goslin attempts to do something on the far side. The Americans getting taken out of the play. Shot right across the goal area. McSwain doing a good job getting that across, but there was no one there to pick it up. Czechoslovakia now with the long shot. Steered away. Seeger with that boomer of a slap shot.
Well, the Czechs are pretty well in control out here at the moment. The American team is challenging and going to the net, but they're not making much happen and not putting much of an attack on Hasek.
Good effort by Czechoslovakia to get back into the play. The wingers picking up their wingers, guys coming right back in front of the net to back check. The shot right on. Pai going to be tested here throughout this game. Picks up an easy one there. Kuchera knocking on the door. Dolana was there too. We approach the 10-minute mark here in the first period. 1-0 the score, Czechoslovakia over USA.
Well, even though the U.S. does look a bit unsettled out there, in all fairness, they are playing a very well-experienced and disciplined hockey team. And from the opening game, this is a heck of a way to get involved in this tournament with the Czechoslovakians with all kinds of experience out there.
Serban being chased behind his own net. Palms that one off to Lubina. Lubina to the far side. Kuchera wants it and he gets it. Squeezed out of the play by O'Regan. Now it's America with 3 men forward. They try to flip that through the defense to get the break on Hasek, and offside is the call.
Look at Tim Taylor, a very experienced coach. He's been around the college ranks for many years with Yale University. He was on the international scene in the '88 Olympics. He's going to try and get the boys going here.
Brown flipping that one in. Norton. Problems along the boards there. Jelinek got a lot of time in the corner. That's right in front. Dolezal misses the far side. He took the swing at it, didn't get much, and then finally connected with the puck and missed that far corner. Dolezal shoots it back in, intercepted at the defense by Norton, pushed out, and the Americans come back on the attack with 3 men forward. Still not a lot of pattern in their play as Gudas for Czechoslovakia picks it up and comes out. Leo Gudas, the long shot, and they certainly are testing this goaltender.
Well, Pai's done well so far. He's kept them right in the game, and he's got a good deal of pressure on him back there as the defense have left him stranded a few times.
So Pai looking good here in the first period. He allowed just 1 goal coming from number 14, Kuchera. Here's we have a timeout here as we take a look at the good work by Pai. Eventually Dolezal gets his stick on the puck and misses that far post.
Well, as you see, Pai getting a well-deserved drink of water here. Tim Taylor's probably telling the boys, look, we've got to settle down. Let's get our act together, play position hockey. Let's forget about who we're playing out here, and let's just go at them.
Pavel Woll, the coach for Czechoslovakia, looking relaxed. Some of the players smiling on the bench. I feel that they feel they are in control here in the early stages. But ice hockey is a funny old game. Anything can happen at any old time, and we still have lots of action to come.
Well, and you know as well as I do, Paul, that Pavel Woll's been involved in some very close, crunching games, and he isn't going to take anything lightly.
Reichel tries to kick that one back to Hollick. Dahlqvist for America. Johnson bounces that off the boards into the neutral zone. And it's always going to be Czechoslovakia who get there first. Baka gives that one away. That shot right in front. Hasek tries to get it, makes the save this time. Fritsch was there. Reynolds really making a meal of this. That's the kind of thing you may get away with in the NHL, but not here. He's got to settle down. The Americans need all their players out on the ice, not in the penalty box.
Well, once again, Hasek does well to keep this out of the net. Miller is in there all by himself. He's got all day, nobody with him. Puts it right back into the pads of Hasek, who manages to cover it up. And then the action starts in front with that rebound sitting there only momentarily. The rest of it's just all players coming in at each other. You can see Reynolds coming right in to get Baka off Miller's back.
Hollick says, hang on, Reynolds. The whistle is blown. We're going to have a face-off.
The one pleasure of having Dominik Hasek out there is he can take charge of a game himself, as he's telling his players, let's get control here.
Stevens getting a shot right on goal. Two-line pass there. Robert Krone really fast to break away, and that's the kind of thing you're going to see from Czechoslovakia and the Russians. The long pass right up the middle, trying to hit the guy just before the red line.
Well, that's right. They make the play flow away from the puck, and as the player skates, he's skating into a zone, and the puck is fed to that zone, and the player goes right into it. And the Czechs and the Russians are so dangerous at things like this.
1-0 the score here. Czechoslovakia in the lead. This is the first period. The shot. The Americans now putting on a bit of pressure. Kitchemer trying to do some damage for America. Stevens taken out of the play. Cole backhands it but misses it completely. Now it's Cole again. This time his backhand comes off, but there's no one there to pick it up. O'Regan shoots that behind the net, but the Czechs pick it up. That takes a deflection. We have delayed penalty on the play. Tripping is the call.
Well, the referee was right on the spot there, and he made that call very decisively.
Face-off will be in Czechoslovakian territory.
Hasek will sit 2 minutes out for the Czechoslovakians here, as he was called right there on the spot by the referee for 2 minutes for the trip.
So another chance for America to put on the power play here in the first period.
They really need a goal here to get themselves back into it, maybe get a little bit of confidence.
That one bounced over Gregory Brown's stick, flips it over to the far side. The Czechs will not sit back just because they're a man short. America now passing that around. Brown on the far side. Right in front of the net to Gudas. Two guys there, pick it up, and now it's a 2-on-1 break. Kuchera coming down. Kuchera flips that across. A good move there by Brown. Still no one seems to want the puck. It's flipped over to the far side.
Well, Brown did well to break that 2-on-1 up. The Americans are still very nonchalant with their passes in that Czech zone.
Coming back to the point to Jeff Norton. Pushes that one into the corner. Still the Americans with the man advantage. Norton flips it over to the top of the circle. The shot. Well, they're saying that one in the net, but it didn't. It ended up on the back of the net. Even the goal judge was fooled there. You got to remember that that puck is going, well, very, very fast indeed. And when it makes a dent in that mesh, it's difficult to see on which side it's in there. Here we see it.
On the replay, you can clearly see that it's on the side of the net.
The Americans celebrating, but it wasn't to be.
Nice try, but it won't work.
Well, it fooled a couple of people out there. One American player, and of course the goal judge who put on the red light. The Americans still with the power play, shooting that one down the ice was Dolezal. 46 seconds now remaining in the power play. A giveaway there, and the Americans with Danton Cole not looking very sharp indeed on this power play situation. Cleared away nicely by the Czech defense. Back to the point, the shot high of Hasek. Dahlqvist bounces that one back in. Baca having problems. Baca doing a good job on defense, shaping up that box. The slap shot takes a deflection. Dolezal hammers that one into the neutral zone. Not a lot of penetration here from the Americans. From the sharp angle, right in front of the net. Hasek saw that all the way and eventually called for the face-off.
Well, that was a nice play there, but Hasek was up for the occasion. There you see some good work, a really cute little pass here coming out in front. Both defensemen are caught watching the puck, and that one almost gets behind Hasek.
Once again, from a different angle, right across. Hasek followed it all the way and eventually pounced on it. Shot along the boards that squeezes out over the blue line, and we'll have another face-off. Hasek, as you can see, is back on the ice, so the Czechs back at full strength. 1-0 the score here, still in the first period. Czechoslovakia against USA. Pool A of the World Championships from Switzerland. Both the Soviets and the Canadians picking up victories in their first outings. And right now the Czechs are dominating the scene here. Still a long way to go though. They mix it up along the far side. Serban for Czechoslovakia. A long shot again, right into the glove of Pai. Goslin along the boards. It goes as far as Baca. Pollock shoots it out. Ketchmer over to Norton. Being shadowed by Rakel. Good pass there. The Americans flipping it up to Kip Miller. Miller getting it back as far as the blue line. Shot back in by Reynolds. Miller's in there. Gudas has got a stick on him. And eventually you can see 5 Czechs back there. A good job of back checking. They come back on the attack. The shot gets away and a good save by Pai. Norton picks it up. Jaeger got a piece of that one. A lot of people in front of the goaltender.
Well, the defense seemed to be backing in on him a bit there, and Jaeger got a good wrist shot off, even though he was really being hooked up from behind.
Hasek takes a shot, and that bounces off Dahlqvist. Good defensive move there by Dahlqvist. Too far there. Seeger picks it up and dumps it back in. Hasek looking for Seeger. The shot comes, but it's way wide of the target. Krohn goes after it. Reynolds flips that behind the net. Some good stuff coming from Czechoslovakia now. They really are spreading their players out, sending one man in, followed by another one shortly thereafter to forecheck. Hasek. Gudas stopped right on the defense by James Johnson. A good check by Johnson took Gudas out of the play. Stevens now, the shot bounces off Gudas, no one there to pick it up, and Hasek says thank you very much. Drops it back behind the net, and the Czechs really in control here, not even breaking into a sweat. They look so calm, they look so cool, breaking right in on net. The backhand shot. Lubina was there, but so was Pai.
Well, William Pai played that one very cool and came up with the save. There you see a nice move from Lubina. He's in there. He's behind the defense. Pushes the puck onto the backhand. Can't get it behind Pai, though. He's right there for the stop.
Goes for the short side here. Good effort by Pai to get in front of that. The Americans now really need to string a few passes together and get a couple of serious shots on goal. Lubina goes all the way back for it. Prohatska mixes it up there a bit with Stevens. Shot along the boards. Stevens gets it to the center. Baca takes his man out of the play. Shot there, hit a skate. And the Czechs now, a bit of a dive there coming from number 23, Dolana.
And the referee signaled that it was a dive as well. You could see him saying, no way, that is not a penalty.
Well, you got to try. If you don't try, you don't get. O'Regan, who's been quiet during this first period so far. A couple of good hits out there. Goslin throwing his weight along, along the boards. Goslin, who's been around a while in the NHL. Tough character. Likes to play old-time hockey. 1-0 the score as we approach the 18-minute mark. Brown goes back for it, touches it, and icing is the call.
Well, rather than the play picking up as this period's gone on, it's sort of slowed itself down. Both teams spreading out. Neither team doing a real lot of skating at this point. A couple of breaks here and there, but it's a very slow pattern of play right now.
Pavel Woll there, the coach of Czechoslovakia, with a few words of encouragement for the boys as we get set for this face-off deep in Czechoslovakian territory. Galliani. The Americans trying to get the shot away. McSwain trickled that one into the corner. That comes out. Brown takes a shot, held on to by Hasek. Eventually throws it into the corner. Nice little move by him, but Brown fires it back in. Hasek again gives it to Serban. It's nice, Richard, when you have a goalie who's fully aware of what's going on out there.
Oh, well, Dominik Hasek just shows why he was the 88-89 World Championship All-Star goalie. He is so calm and cool out there. He really can take charge.
He likes to keep the play moving. He doesn't want face-offs in his zone. Sacco with Serban. Jelinek trying to kick that puck along. Serban, bit of hooking from behind there. Eventually it gets out. Brown is the one-man back. Pye lost it for a moment. Comes up with the save. Jelinek got the shot away. Pye lost it completely. Let's see this again on the slow-mo.
Well, Jelinek comes in over the blue line. He lets it go. He's got a piece of that off the stick of the defenseman. Pye had a lot of trouble handling that. He's looking around for it. He does have control. Jelinek's not able to get anything out of a rebound here. As you see him coming down the right side, it's a left-hand shot. He pushes the puck just once, uses Greg Brown as a potential screen, and actually hits his stick with it.
Reichel is dumped to the ice. No penalty on the play here. The Czechs would love to get another goal before the end of this period as they flip it all the way in. Pushed out by Johnson. Shot along the boards, but still it's kept in. Johnson will try to do it again. Off the boards this time, too far for anyone. Gudas flips that along as far as the blue line. The Czechs dump it into the neutral zone. Chasing there is Jaeger. Reichel mixes it up along the boards. Flipped over by Miller to the far side. Bozic. Oh, that's a bit of a giveaway. A chance for a shot from Miller. Kip Miller getting a shot. Was handled easily by Hasek.
Well, the Czech forward had trouble handling that pass coming from Bozic from behind the net. It comes right out to Miller. He's got a good chance, but it's right at Hasek. You will not score goals on this man with shots like that.
So we get set for the face-off here in the Czechoslovakian zone. Thomas O'Regan for USA. Hasek wins the draw, gets it back. Just a couple of seconds now. There goes the buzzer. to end the first period. 1-0 the score. Richard, the Czechs looking totally in control.
Well, they certainly do. They've got the experience, and they look relaxed out there. They're playing good hockey. The Americans are going to try and regroup, get their act together, and really start coming out.
Well, lots of action to come. Join us in a moment after the break. Welcome back. Czechoslovakia against the United States. 1-0 the score. The Czechs are in the lead with a goal at the 5-minute mark from number 14, Kuchera. A lovely little flip pass from Dolana, number 25, as we look at Pai and Hasek. Both goaltenders playing well in the first period. The Americans playing from right to left. Crone skated by that one. Miller brought to the ice. Staviana. Czechoslovakia now on the attack. Seeger, a long shot, steered away by Pai. It's still not away. Stevens wants it. Flipped into the neutral zone. Stolen right off the stick there by Seeger. Seeger always dangerous no matter where he is. Crone now to Seeger. Hasek, a dangerous line out there. Crone, Seeger, and Hasek. Dahlqvist. Crone flips it back to Seeger. Hasek, stick handling nicely. Oh, a great move by him. And the Americans, all they can do is shoot it down the ice.
That line is hard to contain for the Czechs out there. The Americans are really going to have to keep moving.
That's the big one for the Czechs. There's confirmation of the score. Kuchera out there now, and he's no slouch either. Bit of a giveaway now as Brown picks it up. Teams changing on the fly. Flipped over to this side with Seko. The Americans not holding on to that puck at all. A lot of giveaways out there. Seko losing out, and Bozek flips it into the neutral zone. Pushed into Czechoslovakian territory. Going after it there is McSwain. As far as Brown, he fans on the shot. Still, it's in front of the net. No one there to pick it up. Dolana. Kuchera going deep and decides to go back and get a change. Norton for America. The pass intended for Reynolds. Just a bit too far for him. The Czechs now on the attack. Dolana. Dolezal. A weak shot going off the stick of O'Regan. Dolana. Well, some good play in the neutral zone by the Czechs as number 11. Hostic moves it in. Taken out of the play, but it comes right back to him.
Well, this could be where the U.S. could get in some trouble here if they don't keep skating. The Czechs are going to really start opening this game up as they're really starting to look loose out there.
Hostic bumps his man along the boards. Baka. Prohatska. A long pass. Goes high into the air. Prohatska again. The return pass. Reichel takes the shot. Right on the money, but Pai was there to make the save.
Well, you can see the shots are coming more and more here now, and the American defense still seems to be sitting back. They're not going to be very successful at this rate if they keep that up.
Good little move by Prohatska. Gets it forward, always looking up the ice. Reichel, no hesitation, lets go of the slap shot.
Well, the Americans still just seem very unsettled. They do not seem relaxed out there at the moment. They're not really putting much together with their passes.
They're playing defensive hockey. That shot coming from Jaeger trickles out over the blue line. Serban, a rink-wide pass, and the whistle blows. Jaeger was the intended receiver on that one. Richard Taylor must be concerned not at the score right now because he's only trailing by one, but at the way the Americans are playing.
Yeah, I'm sure he's wondering how he's going to get this team motivated and get them to start playing together a little bit. I realize they're a young team and they've been thrown together to come over here, but I'm sure Tim Taylor expects a little bit more out of them than they're showing at the moment.
Czechoslovakia now, a long shot by Serban Pai. Shoots that one off the boards, a good play by him, and the Americans into the neutral zone. Dahlqvist has to wait until his team gets back on side. Still it's Dahlqvist. Reichel loses out. Stevens picks it up. Stevens going in on the backhand side. Serban pushes him into the woodwork. Stevens hanging on to Serban's stick. Held against the boards there. O'Regan trying to kick it free, and he does. O'Regan eventually gets it out as far as the top of the circle, and it's pushed into the neutral zone. This is going to be an offside as Reichel found himself flat on his back shooting over that blue line. Hollick brought the pass or the puck over, but Reichel was there first. Offside is the call. We're in the second period here. Czechoslovakia against the USA, and the Czechs looking good. The big line out there for Czechoslovakia. Hasek, Krohn. Right now it's Bozic, Norton, Sacco. Fires that one into the far side. Hasek shoots that one all the way around. McSwain in there. Gudas. Gudas for Czechoslovakia. A tricky one there for Pai. It's not the kind of thing you want to see go in from that distance. Norton having problems behind his own net. Sacco gets that as far as the blue line. Seeger flips that one back in. Norton now, and the Americans having all sorts of problems getting out of their own zone. Gudas. Seeger comes back to help him. Hasek, a lot of time in the neutral zone, gets over the blue. Seeger takes a shot, he scores. Hasek laid that right on for Seeger, made it look so easy. 5:09 gone in the second period, and once again Czechoslovakia score.
Well, you can see this line is happy with that as they've worked hard together, and they are a danger line. They've done a lot of work out there, and this is a nice goal for them. Hasek with some nice moves, dumps a backhander off. Seeger with a one-timer, blasts it behind Pai for the goal.
Richard, Norton, and Brown here backing in quite a distance, aren't they?
Oh, they were backing in quite far, and it almost looked as if Norton was directly in front of Pai on that shot. Not to take away from the shot, though, it was a nice one into the bottom corner.
Dolana going in on the backhand side, taken out of the play. Band on it. The shot coming from Baca, but Baca recovers and eventually scoots that one over to the side, and the Americans are cheering. The indication here is for a penalty shot.
Oh, by all means, that's what it looks like. You can see the American forwards were quite happy with the call that seemed to be made there by McKellar. If a player is clearly through, in the referee's estimation, if he is pulled down, then he is awarded a penalty shot. You can see Baca, they look quite even with each other at that point. I don't know about that call. The referee's well back behind center ice when he makes that call.
Well, it did look like a 50-50 call to me. I mean, as you say, they were beside each other, but he's made the call. They get one bite of the cherry. The shot right on goal. Well, not a good one from Fritsch. An easy save for Hasek. He put that right in the pads.
Gave it right to him. Here he is coming in. He's trying to pick it through the legs here. There's no rebound on a penalty shot. It's one time and that's it. There's Fritsch.
Hasek comes out nicely to cut down the angle on that one.
Well, Hasek cut the angle down, but it was very deliberate what Fritsch did. He came right in and took the shot. Hasek was up for that.
So the Americans there blowing a great opportunity to bring themselves back into this game.
I'm sure Baca's relieved at Dominik Hasek for helping him out there.
Staviana for Czechoslovakia. Onto the right wing. Jelinek. Taken out of the play heavily by Goslin. One or two of the spectators here from Czechoslovakia calling for a penalty on that play, but the official didn't see it that way. All the way down the ice, and Serban goes back for it. 2-0 the score here in the second period. 6.5 minutes gone. The long pass intercepted. Nice little move here by the Americans. Reynolds got the pass over from Cole, and they just couldn't put it in the net.
Well, that play, Reynolds went all the way around the net with it. He maybe should have tried to get something on the initial pass. It was a nice play by Cole. The two of them did play together at Michigan State University, so I'm sure they've passed to each other before. It was a good attempt. He's at a bad angle here. Doesn't have complete control of the puck. Tries to go around the net with it for the wraparound to someone in front. But Gudas does well to come back and get a skate on it, clear the zone.
And you saw in that replay how quick Dominik Hasek got from one side of the net to the other to cover up on that wraparound. Intercepted at the blue, pushed over by Danton Cole. Dahlqvist. Hasek comes way out of his net and bounces it off the boards nicely. Pollock shoots it forward. Pushed into the American zone. Reichel going after it. And we're going to have a roughing penalty on the play. The official skating over to the timekeeper, Stevens, for America. We saw that signal from the referee with the straight arm out, indicating roughing. So Dominik Hasek will be relieved to see that the Americans will be shorthanded for 2 minutes.
Well, this is not what the Americans need here. They're down 2-0. They certainly don't need a man in the penalty box. Stevens caught throwing a punch away from the play there.
Pye shoots that into the corner. O'Regan going after it, and eventually it's shot down the ice. You can see the time in the period ticking away in the center, and the penalty time on the right-hand side of your screen. Seeger getting that over to the far side. Staviana wants it at the top. Staviana now getting it back. Seeger flips it over to the far side. A lot of times Staviana takes a shot. Took a deflection. Crone with Hasek out there. Seeger flipping it through to Crone. Crone behind the net. A nice little move by him. Seeger on the circle. Seeger takes a shot. He scores! Crone gave him that pass. A power play goal. 7:50 gone in the second period. 3-0 for Czechoslovakia.
Well, they were working give and goes in the corner. Crone ended up with it behind the net. Works the puck over to Seeger. I guess maybe he was thinking he'll use people as a screen here, as he's not at a great angle to take a shot, but manages to drive that past Pye. That puck went through 3 players and Pye to get to the back of that net. A nice shot by Seeger for the goal.
Once again from a different angle. Not many guys would have shot from there. Just inside the post there. A rocket of a shot.
And as he shot that, you could see Hasek put his hand up to his face. It was out of self-defense. He thought it was going to take him with him.
Goslin fires that one all the way in. 3-0 now the score. Prohatska taken out along the boards, but the Czechs get it into the neutral zone. Prohatska ties his man up. Dolana waiting for it to come loose. Galliani now. Galliani fakes the shot. Tries to get it forward. Taken out of the play nicely by Lubina. 8:28 gone here in the second period. Baca goes all the way back for it. Face-off coming up, and right now, Richard, the Americans trailing by 3. What do they have to do to bring themselves back into this game?
Well, they've definitely got to make things happen here by getting this puck putting a lot of pressure on Hasek. He's so cool back there. They've really got to apply a lot more pressure on him to get him to crack it all.
Johnson flips that forward. Serban gets there first. Serban bounces that off a skate. Right under the camera here, the teams on the left wing coming through now with Reynolds from a sharp angle. An impossible shot. The Czechs pick it up and flip it into the neutral zone. Back come the Americans. Miller backhands that one wide of the target. An easy one for Jelinek. Bozic, Jelinek. A lot of talk between the deflection there coming off Miller's stick. Hasek saw it all the way. A lot of talk between the Americans out there, trying to motivate each other as Gudis gets it up to Bozic. A long shot, touched for the icing call.
Well, that was a little bit better work out there. Miller and Reynolds linking up well together. Of course, the two of them played together at Michigan State. I'm sure they've passed to each other a few times before, but they're going to need a lot more. They're going to need a lot better chances than that to try and get through this Czech defense. Certainly can't take away from the Czech defense, though. They're so calm and in their positions all the time out there.
Getting set for the face-off is Hasek. Drop back. Norton takes the shot. Wide of the target. Reichel goes after it. Gets a second chance at it and pushes it forward, but it's kept in by the Americans. Hasek bounces it to Serban. A lazy shot by him. Offside is the call as Deviana tried to bring that one out.
Well, the last two shifts here, the U.S. have put a lot more pressure on the forecheck. Quite possibly that's what Tim Taylor is yelling and screaming about over there, is just keep the pressure on him, let's forecheck, dump the puck in and go get it.
O'Regan will do the honors for USA. Reichel will do the honors for Czechoslovakia. Pye comes out, Blue goes in. Well, what's the strategy behind that? I thought Pye was playing really well. What a time to put a goaltender in a game in the middle of the second period. Norton trying to do a wraparound there. Jeff Norton being taken out of the play. Returns the favor along the boards. Stevens now. The Czechs getting there first. Jaeger wants it. Now Czechoslovakia on the right wing. Coming up is Jaeger. Working right in on the defense. Blue gets his first touch. He'll enjoy that. Gregory Brown. Brown flipping that one forward. Intercepted nicely by Reichel. A long shot, and that's in the net. Reichel brought himself right back into the play. Jaeger got it over to him, and it was a one-timer.
Nice goal. Very nice work here from the three Czech forwards as they move that puck very well together. Blue without a real chance on this one. As you see Jaeger slide that puck across. All that Reichel needs to do is get a touch on it, and he's tied up but still manages to get his stick on it. Really nice play. There you see the pass coming across from Jaeger, who threads it through. Blue going down. Defenseman's all over Reichel, but he manages to muscle it behind. Great effort from Robert Reichel.
Well, I'm sure people will be questioning the strategy behind taking out Pye. Not a good time to put a goalie in. I guess he wants to give him some action, but you got to remember he hasn't had a warm-up shot since the warm-up period before the game started. When you go in cold like that, you're not allowed to warm up. Crone now flips it up to Hasek. Hasek taken out of the play.
Well, also with this being a young team, I'm sure that Tim Taylor, having drawn the Czechs for their first game, which wasn't a great draw for the U.S. at all anyways, wants to get everybody involved and get the cobwebs out and get this team going.
4-0 the score, with 11:35 now gone in the second period. A chance for a shot. Sacco getting the stick on that. Hasek makes it look so easy out there. Always well positioned.
A lot of positive talk on that American bench. Let's go, way to go. You can hear the coach trying to pump them up. Everything's constructive over there, trying to let this team get a little bit relaxed.
Miller against Kuchera. Dahlqvist back at the point. We'll look to this one to come to him. Picked up by Gudas. Nice little 1-2 off to Kuchera. Kuchera overskates it right in front of the net. The goaltender is down. The net is wide open. Blue with Dolana coming in on him there. Was way out of the cage. Dahlqvist now flips it over to Johnson. Dahlqvist being shadowed there by Kuchera. Well, Blue found himself way out of the net. And the Czechs really could have made more of that. Miller flipping that one high off the plexi into the corner, and we're going to have another face-off.
Well, both teams getting fresh legs out there. The Czechs working their defensive pairs, changing people back and forth. They're in control. They're just moving the puck around. You can see the forward combinations for the American side. They're all trying to get in there and forecheck, but it's not so easily done with this Czech team as they really spread out well, and you watch them skate away from the play. You can see how they move that puck out.
Reagan against Hostek. Serbat pushes that one forward. Jelinek fakes a shot right in front. They score again. Jelinek got that over to Dolezal. That's number 5.
Well, that's heads-up hockey by Jelinek as he laid a beautiful pass over here. You can see him wind up, just drops the puck back into the slot. Dolezal is there, puts a move on, tied up momentarily. Blue doesn't do that well to go down that quickly, though. Dolezal managed to slip it underneath him. There you can see Dolezal. He doesn't really get a lot on that one. Blue goes down a bit early, and the puck gets underneath him.
It's easy to say sitting in a commentary box talking about a game, but had Blue left his stick right where it should have been, he might have made the save. He moved the stick, looking for the cut to his right, and the puck went right where the stick would have been. 5-0 the score. The Czechs having a lot of fun out there, making it look easy as they come back on the attack now. Reichel couldn't get to that one. Baca flips it over to the far side. Still a lot of time left for the Americans to come back. Norton now pushes that one in front. The shot takes a deflection. Stevens was there. Goslin pushed all the way in, and we'll have another face-off.
You can see Kevin Stevens shaking his head as he went to the bench. He'd like to have that shot back again. He was looking for the top corner on that wrist shot in the slot. Didn't manage to find it. Not happy with himself.
Keep working, boys. Keep working. You gotta stay with the man all the way to our net here, guys.
You can hear Tim Taylor saying we've got to stay with our man all the way back to the net, guys.
Well, that's the strategy. Kitchener. Sacco. Bozic up to Krohn, but too far for him. Hasek. A giveaway here. The shot right on the target coming from Sacco. Hasek was there to make the save. Sacco perfectly positioned right in the slot area. Hasek going back for it now. Steered out of the play nicely. Shot along the boards, and the Americans just can't contain that long pass. Hasek has it, backhands it away. McSwain chases. Sacco was in there again. Sacco having a good spell in this period. McSwain mixes it up along the boards. Gudas eventually holds it against the woodwork with his knee, and we'll have another face-off.
Well, some good aggressive forechecking by Steve McSwain out there. He did good work on the other side of the ice and got that shot for Sacco earlier, and he's doing work out here again. Very aggressive forward.
25-year-old Dominik Hasek between the pipes for Czechoslovakia. And this will be the kiss of death, but right now he has a shutout.
You're not supposed to ever mention that. You were a goalie, you know better than that.
It's got to be the worst thing a guy can say. 2 minutes remaining in the game, and he says, keep working at it, you got a shutout. You know, from that moment on, you're going to let in a goal at some time. Kuchera trying to do it by himself, shoots it along the boards, and the Czechs now with Dolana. Dolana, a cheeky little back pass to Labina, it just didn't come off. The Americans up on the right wing, chance for a shot. Fitch, a bouncing high puck there, and Serban mixes it up, really doesn't want any part of that. Reynolds has a go at him. Serban smiles and probably says to him in Czechoslovakia, hey, look at the scoreboard.
Well, also Serban was outsized on that one. The American forward was much bigger, and they were sort of playing that like an American jump ball from a basketball game there as the puck was in the air. You can see the pushing and shoving. Miller is there right in front of the net. The puck has already gone to the other side. Serban looks around as if to say, well, wait a minute here. I wasn't going that way. I don't need your help. Reynolds comes in to say, if you're talking to Miller, you're talking to me. Oh, well.
Dolezal, a long pass up to Jelinek. Jelinek going to have to wait until his teammates get back on side. Prohatska. A rink-wide pass is going to be picked up by Brown. Brown to Norton. These long passes coming from deep in their own zone are really going nowhere. Prohatska gets the pass from Jelinek. The Americans have got to make those passes pay. They've got to make them right on the money. Jelinek now fakes the shot. Well, he would have been better to take a shot there. He had all the time in the world, and he was perfectly positioned as Norton picks up the loose puck.
He should have let that one go as he was right in the slot. Tried to be a little bit too cheeky out there.
Cole now going in on the backhand side, gets around Prohatska, gets it right in front. Hasek went down, and the shot didn't come. Baka for Czechoslovakia. Scoops that one along the boards. The Czechs now breaking. Hollick right in front of the net. Two Czechs were there. One of them was Reichel, and the pass didn't come. Sacco over to the far side. Intercepted in the neutral zone. The Czechs having a great time in that neutral zone. The shot ends up in the corner. Hollick getting a piece of that one. Gudas bounced off the boards. Jaeger squeezed out of the play, but he's still got possession. Czechs are so tough on the puck. They don't give it up easily. Sacco, a long shot. Hasek makes the save. Goes bouncing all the way back to Bozic. Flips it along the boards. Too hard for Hollick, and the two-line pass. The whistle blows, and we'll have another face-off.
Well, once again, you can still see the Americans are shooting from quite a distance out. Those shots are going to have to be pinpointed to get by Dominik Hasek. Sacco with a couple of big shots. They're going to have to try and penetrate a little more and come down as a unit.
5-0 the score. Second period action between Czechoslovakia and the USA. The Czechs totally in control here, playing some good hockey, throwing the puck around. Right now it's Crone getting it back to the defense. They really do make good use of the defense, don't they, when they're out there?
Oh, all 5 men on that ice will touch that puck at one point or another. They do move the puck around well.
Serban. Oh, nice stuff by Hasek. Still it's Hasek taken out of the play nicely by Dahlqvist. Some good stuff by Czechoslovakia as they flip that puck around. Serban bounces that off the boards. Both teams changing on the fly here. Hasek. Offside is the call. And the crowd are starting to get behind Czechoslovakia. As they make the pass, they're doing like a bull charge, and they go, hooray, you know, as the bull goes through, and everybody roars every time they complete a pass. And they've completed so many passes out there.
Yeah, there are certain times when you can almost say they're passing too much, but it's because they constantly have their heads up, and they're always looking to pass to the man that is skating away from the puck. They lose a lot of give and goes, and it makes it very difficult to cover.
Norton behind his own net. Jeff Norton, a long pass. Intercepted. Solozal rather. Pushed all the way back, and Prohatska will have to go back there and touch it. Gets it over. And back comes Czechoslovakia. Well, a lot of play breaking down in that neutral zone. The move there by Lubina. Just a bit too late, as he has a couple of words with Stevens. Just over a minute remaining here in the second period as Lubina and Baca and Kuchera take a break for Czechoslovakia. 5-0 the score.
Well, for this young American team, this was a great way to get their introduction into the World Championships by getting this well-seasoned Czechoslovakian team in the first game.
Jelinek dumped that one in. The Americans now trying to bring it up. They really do have to bring it up as a team, not one at a time. Jelinek, Bozic, O'Regan shadows. The long pass coming from Gudas. Hostic mixing it up along the boards. Norton. The Americans coming back now with Norton. A long, lazy shot just to the side of Hasek. A few seconds now remaining on the clock in this period. Time ticking away. A chance for Bozek as he brings it up. Almost put himself offside there. Good defensive move by the Americans. 10 seconds remaining in the period. Kuchera flips it in and takes a knock to the head. The Americans will be happy just to hang on to this. There goes the buzzer to end the second period. 5-0 the score, Czechoslovakia over the United States. Well, still the third period to come, but a lot of work for America. Join us in a moment after the break. Welcome back to the third and final period. USA against Czechoslovakia. The Czechs playing from right to left in the lead by 5-0. And the Americans with their backs to the wall.
Well, they've certainly got a lot of homework to do here as this Czechoslovakian team just keeps spreading the play out and move the puck around.
Johnson ties his man up, but still Crone fights for that puck right in front. A couple of guys took a swing at it. The shot didn't come off, and the Americans now break down the ice, and the whistle blows. So an excellent start by Czechoslovakia to this game, but not a good start to the period by the Americans, holding Stevens in the penalty box for 2 minutes. Stevens will sit it out, and Blue will see some more action, I'm sure.
Almost certainly, as the Czechs are going to work the power play once again here.
Kuchera loses that one. Gudas goes back for it. Hasek flips that one off the plexi. Bozic feeds a little pass up for Kuchera. The shot from a wide angle goes way wide of the target, and Gudas goes back for it into his own zone. Gudas slow bringing it out. Gets around one man and flips it over to the far side. Norton, and you can hear everyone yelling, no ice, no ice. That's because the Americans have a man in the box. Got a lot of time here. Some nice work there by Reynolds. Ran into one too many white shirts. Kuchera brought that in. Offside was the call, and so we'll have a face-off in the neutral zone.
Well, with 1:21 left in the penalty here, the Czechs are going with different combinations to try and get something going on this power play. This is a good chance for Pavel Woll to do some experimenting. He's got the lead 5-0. He's in control. I'm sure he's going to get some combinations out there to look toward the future in this tournament.
Baka. Dolezal. Hostek. Hostek now coming down on the backhand side, trying to get that in front. Pushed along the boards, and the Americans with Saka doing a great job of killing off this penalty. McSwain running into trouble along the boards. Dolezal now for Czechoslovakia. Hostek leaves it. Prohatska over to the far side. The Czechs throw it around nicely, but as you said, Richard, from time to time, they make one too many passes.
Oh, they're very guilty of that, but that's only in that they're always heads up, looking for a man who's away from that puck. Constant give and go action by the Czechs.
Prohatska somehow kept that in. Jelinek got it as far as the slot. That hit a skate and eventually shot down the ice. 10 seconds now remaining on the penalty. 2:25 gone with Dolezal coming down. On his wrong wing, Dolezal bounces that off the boards. The Czechs let it go. Stevens steps on the ice. Serban takes a shot. Blue comes up with a save. Well, Dolezal was right there, number 15. He had all the time in the world. No one picked him up. He cruised over from the left wing and just hammered that one home. That's number 6 for Czechoslovakia. They made it look so easy just when Stevens was stepping back on the ice.
Well, there's a bit of a pile-up here in front of the net. You can see Reichel is in there. The puck comes over to Dolezal. He just walks in and tees this one up. Not much of a chance for Blue as he's struggling to get back to that side of the net. There it is, a bouncing puck. Everybody's taking a swipe at it. The Czech forward tries a nice move here to get it across, loses the puck, but there's Dolezal who walks right into it. Thank you, he says, and that is a goal.
So, Czechoslovakia striking early as Reichel finds himself offside. 6-0 with just 2:40 gone in the third period.
Well, as we mentioned before, Pavel Woll getting fresh legs out there. Reichel's a young player who's up and coming. He's certainly doing a good job out there tonight. He's aggressive, he's doing a lot of forechecking, and he's making things happen.
Goslin shoots that one as far as the blue line. The battle of the neutral zone being won by Czechoslovakia, that's for sure. Baka. A little bit of grabbing there as the puck finds its way near the slot. Oh, and Hasek fanned on that one. It ended up on top of the net. He really lost control of that one.
Yeah, he sure did, as he might have been caught out of concentration there for just a moment as the shot came to him. There's a pile up in the corner. The puck squirts out of the corner from Stevens. The defenseman takes the shot. It's up high on the shoulder of Hasek. He's not quite sure where it is. Turns around and sees it laying on the back of the net.
Cheeky little move by the American. He puts his paw on it and tries to throw it out. Give him 10 marks for trying.
I don't speak Czechoslovakian, but I'm sure Pavel Woll is saying, look, let's not lose our concentration.
The Americans again with another good effort there. O'Regan right in on the door. Seeger comes back. Seeger, the pass too hard and too far for anyone. Brown, go Brownie, they're saying. Right in on goal. The shot handled by Hasek. Miller was right there to get the wood on it, but Hasek got the glove to it first.
Well, Kip Miller is a 20-year-old forward out of Michigan State. He's got a lot of moves out there. He's a fine young hockey player. There's an example right there. One move, two moves, wrist shot from the slot. Defenseman gets a stick on it. So it's not a tough save for Hasek, but it's good work from Kip Miller.
Gudas being sent to the penalty box. It's his first penalty of the game. Slashing the call. So a good chance here for the Americans to bring themselves back into this game. Anything would be a help. Norton flipped that into the far corner. Reynolds. Brown got it over. Brown again. Miller. All around that net. The goaltender went down early. Reynolds tried to bring it out, and Kuchera now has it in the neutral zone, getting it back. And watch them. They won't give it up easy. They'll play it around. Baca flips it to the far side. Interference, the call.
And a good call it is, as the referee is motioning, get to the penalty box. I don't want to hear it. The Czech forward was moving for the puck. The defenseman had already gotten rid of it. Reynolds dumped him away from the play.
Well,
This guy's awful.
you can hear the comment coming from Robert Reynolds.
Impossible.
I won't pick up on the first one, but the second one was, this guy's awful.
The guy just passed the puck.
Reynolds' complaint is that the defenseman had just passed the puck. He is fair game. Questionable, especially on international standards. The referees are quick to call them.
6-0 the score. The Americans really didn't need that. So both teams with a man in the penalty box. Serban. Staviana. A long pass into the center ice zone. Dolezal. Jelinek. And look at this passing. This is nice. This is pretty. This is good stuff. Jelinek trying to break through. Good defensive work there coming from the Americans. Johnson eventually flips it up on the wing. Galliani chases it. Serban gets to it first. Jelinek. Dolezal wants it. Jelinek hangs on to it. Dahlqvist steers him out of the play and eventually brings him to the ice. The Czech doesn't want to know anymore. He's done his bit out there.
Well, Jelinek's going to stay away from that. He's a very classy player. He's got a lot of moves out there, and he's the kind of player that can really frustrate a defenseman. And you can see they're starting to frustrate the Americans here. Dahlqvist really puts a grab on him here. The play is still going on. Jelinek stays on his feet. He does well. There's a delayed penalty call coming up on it anyways. Hauls him down to the ice like a football tackle. As they wrestle around, you can see Dahlqvist still wants to know because he is not happy.
Not too high in the rotation, okay? If you have to go out, don't go out too high.
That's sheer frustration.
Well, I'm sure Pavel Woll has said to his players, look, stay out of the box. We don't want any fighting. And again, they're talking about that interference call. They don't want any serious fighting out there. It's not worth it. They're leading by 6 here in the third period. Christopher Dahlqvist finds himself in there alongside his teammate. He'll be in there for 2 minutes.
Well, you'll see that puck flying around now with a 5-on-3 situation.
Well, 4-on-3. The Czechs have a man in the box. The Americans now are going to set up that triangle. Baca. Bozic. Bozic again. Fakes the shot. Pushes that into the corner. Baca has to skate over to get it. Back to Bozic. A lot of time to throw this around. Jaeger. Baca. The shot. Gudas comes back onto the ice, and now it's 5-on-3. Not a good situation for the Americans. Bozic takes the shot. Steered away. Bounced out along the boards and into the neutral zone. And we're going to have another face-off on the play here. The Americans, Richard, doing a good job of killing off this penalty. They're setting up the triangle just like they're supposed to do.
Well, they stayed in their positions well on this one. They did rotate when the puck moved across. They did a good job of getting their body in front of the puck and keeping it away from Blue.
Cole golfs at that one to relieve the pressure. Blue being dropped right in the deep end. The Americans still with 2 men in the penalty box. Staviana, Hasek, the big boys are on there now. Flipped over to the far side to Serban. He fakes the shot. Crone is out front. Hasek waiting on the far post. Just over 6 minutes gone in the period. 6-0 the score. Reynolds gets back on the ice, picks up the puck. Going in on goal now on the backhand side, takes a shot. Hasek was there to stack his pads. And this guy is tough to beat.
Oh, he certainly is. He took the angle right away. Reynolds had to come in with one hand on the stick as the Czechs are coming back.
Reynolds is fired up now as he shoots that down the ice. He really did step out of the penalty box with a lot of speed. Hasek. Seeger left there for McSwain. Staviana takes him out of the play, but not before McSwain shoots it down the ice. Leo Gudas. Just 6 seconds remaining on the last American penalty. Dahlqvist is in there. The shot. Blue has lost it completely. Gudas took a wrist shot, and that trickled through, and now the break is on. Coming in on goal, they shoot, they score! Dahlqvist stepped out of the box, got a breakaway, and finally broke the shutout from Dominik Hasek.
Well, there's some of Dahlqvist's energy put back to good use. I'm sure he's going to be a little bit happier with himself here now. He comes out of the penalty box, gets the puck right at center ice. For a defenseman, he puts a lovely move on Hasek and dumps it over him on the backhand.
Hasek still got a piece of this, didn't he?
Oh, he did. He's a very clever goaltender. Dahlqvist does well, though. The big defenseman puts it behind him for the first American goal. There goes your shutout, Fergie.
Sorry about that, Dominik Hasek. Once again, goes to the backhand side. Most guys prefer the forehand. Takes the shot, it hits the pad, and goes into the back of the net. (6-1) the score. What will that do for the Americans? The Czechs with Hostek losing his stick right at the blue line. The stick still getting in the way of play out there as Dahlqvist tries to get by it, punches it forward. Stevens looking for Cole. Reichel overskates that. Prohatska lets it go by him. Baca can't get a handle on it. Reichel again. Still it's Reichel. Little back flip over to Prohatska. Jelinek can't bat it down. Reichel flipped over to the far side. Reichel's there. Reichel takes a shot. He scores! Well, how did that go in? Reichel was casually making his way into the corner. There were bodies lying in front of the American net, and he saw the loose puck and said, well, I'll have a go. That's number 7.
Well, the Czechs will take this one, but it's not pretty. Hollick made the move. Blue had poked the puck away. You can see Reichel's head is still down. He just directs the puck toward the net, and it's up and over everybody.
Johnson lost sight of it as he took the man out here. Reichel gets it. Johnson still has his back to the play. And what a shot.
Tricky shot for a man who was off balance and not a bad angle. Blue had done the job by poking the puck away from Hollick. Johnson's got his back to the play. Blue is still down. There's a man behind Reichel, and he still shoots the puck up and over everyone for the goal.
So with just over 8 minutes gone here in the third period, the Czechs stretch their lead to 7-1. Delayed penalty on the play going against Czechoslovakia. The goaltender comes off in favor of an extra attacker. High sticking the call.
You can see the Czechs looking a little bit confused here as they're wondering who's going to go to the penalty box. The call was made as a high stick. There you can see Srbin making his way to the box. He's the man guilty of the high stick. Well, the Americans here with a chance to try and get back into this once again. They're passing the puck around a lot better at the moment. The goal does seem to have lifted their spirits a little. Chance for the power play here.
Bozic shoots that one down, and Gregory Brown goes after it. Brown waiting for his teammates to get settled. Pushed over to the far side. Fritsch. Bozic takes a wild swipe at that, and that goes all the way down the ice again. Hasek out there to help kill off this penalty. Fritsch bounces that off the boards. All the way back to Brown. Pushes it over to the far side. Fritsch. The Americans not too steady on their play in this zone. Norton. Miller. Reynolds. A lot of passing, but no shots yet. Fritsch. Brown. A lazy shot, looking for a deflection. Goes off the skate with Reynolds right there. Reynolds again. Reynolds has got Miller. Brown loses that one of skate, gets it over to Miller. To Reynolds. He's got defensemen lying all over the place. It's loose right in front of the net. And eventually Hasek comes up with it. Reynolds starts to mix it up. Hasek is in there, but it's nothing really serious. Norton having words with Gudas. The officials are quick to react and separate them. And again, I have a feeling it's frustration.
Well, Reynolds here, he's got time. The defenseman slides out past him. There's a man wide open in front of the net. But he's knocked down, and there's skates and bodies all over the place. You can see the tempers flaring here. There's about 7 men all around Hasek.
Bozic was quick to react there with the cross check. And that's what started the whole thing off.
And Norton, having come in from the blue line, being a defenseman, created that whistle to make the play go outside the zone. As Hasek had covered the puck and the whistle had blown, the defenseman came in, so the face-off goes back outside the blue line.
Johnson. Midway through the third period, the Czechs with 19 seconds remaining on their penalty. Shot in by Denton Cole. Chased by Stevens, but the Czechs get there first. Well, that's been the story throughout this contest. Still a long way to go, but the Czechs have been beating the Americans to the puck. Baka. Srbin steps on the ice, and the Czechs are back at full strength.
Icing's the call. Srbin back out on the ice. The Czechs did a good job of killing that penalty off, as Hasek was under a little bit of pressure for a moment. Americans a bit unlucky there not to put one behind him, but there was a lot of confusion in front of that goal.
Well, it's back to the drawing board for Tim Taylor, coach of the USA side. It's a long tournament, a lot of tough teams to play. There's no way they can relax. Kitchener shoots it in. McSwain goes after it. Srbin shadows his man nicely. It's left at the side. Hasek punches it away. Srbin comes up with it. The long pass is an offside one, 2 lines. Again, Richard, we see that quick break just when you think the puck is being contained in the corner. Someone like Dolezal or Dolezal breaks for that center ice area, and he gets the pass.
Well, that's good coaching by Pavel Woll as well. You want to keep the American defenseman from being able to hold that blue line. The best way to do that is send someone out to float, hopefully inside the center ice line when he gets the pass, as he wasn't that time. But you want to create a flow to make the Americans move back.
Srbin can't get his stick on that one. Eventually it comes to him from McSwain. Czechoslovakia with Stadiana. Srbin Some lovely little passes out there as Hostek gets it back to the defense. Jelinek wants it. Serban hangs onto it. Hostek now runs into trouble when he comes up against Sacco. But still, it's Czechoslovakia with Serban. A lot of lovely little passes. Reichel spun out of the play just as he tried to cut back. Goslin doing a good defensive job there of dumping his man. Gudas. Backhanded in right on the money by Holek. Offside is the call.
Well, once again, nice passes being fed through there by the Czech defenseman. That situation, Goslin did well to put the stoppers on Reichel.
7-1 the score here in the third period. Czechoslovakia well and truly in the lead over the Americans. 12:20 gone in the period. Can the Americans come back? It would take a miracle. Gudas backhands that off the boards. The Americans. O'Regan flips it back in, and once again it comes out into the neutral zone. Left in the high slot area. Reichel wants it, and he gets it. Reichel cutting in now. Seeger right in front of the net, and a good clearance there by Thomas O'Regan. Jaeger was there too. The shot, fanned on it, and back come the Americans. Back on the attack. Stevens feeding that one right over to Cole. Cole couldn't bat it down. Jaeger stops in the corner and leaves it. That's going to be a penalty going against the Americans. The goaltender will come off. The shot right on the target. The save is made. And as soon as the Americans touch it, the whistle blows. Tripping is the call. Thomas O'Regan, the guilty party. He'll sit it out for 2 minutes. The Czechs quick to react on that delayed penalty.
Well, a quick look at Tom O'Regan. Played his college hockey in Boston, and he's been in West Germany the past few years. Done a good job with Landshut. He's been one of the top scorers in the German league for the past couple of years. Good hockey player both ways.
He knows all about international refereeing, international ice surfaces. Staviana. Hasek. Pushed into the corner nicely. Staviana wants it back, and he gets it. Hasek takes a shot. That's cleared away. The rebound, and that's batted away again. Left, right in the crease for a moment there. Crone couldn't get to it. Back to the point. Push back to Crone. Crone along the boards. Taken out by Reynolds. Reynolds gets it over to Johnson. Johnson gets away from his man. Johnson looking for Miller. Decides to take it himself. Johnson working his way in nicely. Still it's Johnson doing a great job of killing off this penalty and ragging that puck. Another penalty on the play as Johnson really walked into that one, didn't he?
Oh, he certainly did. Good work from Johnson as he took the puck the length of the ice, trying to make something happen by himself. There you see him getting up. He's on the outside. The Czech defenseman has to pull him down. He goes sliding into the back of that net pretty hard.
So Staviana, number 16, will sit it out for 2 minutes. Tripping is the call. The Americans will go with Stephen McSwain at center. Kuchera does the honors for the Czechs, and Norton took a shot from way back at the point. High as Dolana picks it up. The Czechs will be happy to throw this around all night long if the Americans let them. Brown picked up the loose puck. Norton going in. Norton gets the return pass. Baca breaks it up. Still along the board. Sacco was there. Prohatska. Sacco taken out of the play nicely. The Czechs doing what they have to do out there. Serban pushes it forward to Kuchera. Kuchera will take them on. Stops and decides to rag the puck. Killing off this penalty, Norton. Getting it through, but Prohatska was there, and so was Baka. The Americans getting set to put their man back on the ice. O'Regan is out there, and they're back at full strength. Dolezal lost control of that. Well, it'll be interesting to see now what they can do. The Americans, that is. Johnson brings it over, drops it back. Just a bit too much for O'Regan. Push behind the net. Baka takes his man out nicely. And Serban, Stevens getting a push in there, and they're having a go at each other. Baka and Stevens. Neither one of them wants to fight. And I think they're waiting for the officials, Richard, to separate them.
Well, I think Stevens was at one point ready to have a go. There you see him saying, okay, you want to keep it up? I'll keep it up then.
To be fair to Stevens, he was pressed against the plexi. The play was long gone, and he was saying, hey, what's going on here? Baka held him there. Watch this. Baka has got him in the bear hug.
Well, Baka came in high to begin with, and then he held him, and Stevens puts his arms out to the ref as if to say, call something. This guy's taking me to the dances here. Then Baka throws a punch. Stevens really is undecided about whether he really wants to let him have it or not. They both watch for the referee. Then they decide, okay, we'll get a couple shots in here.
Stevens goes for the helmet, trying to grab onto that and pull it off.
What's he got? What's he got?
Stevens asking the officials here, what's he got? He can't believe he's in there at all. Well, you got to give something to the Czechoslovakian player on that one. And there's Jurgis Baka in there.
Well, Stevens trying to be diplomatic there, asking the referee, look, what's going on? The initial call should have been made on him to begin with. Now I find myself sitting in the penalty box. Where is he? And what's he going to get for a penalty? Now you see Baka. Still hasn't put his head back on, or rather his helmet.
He did throw a nice little punch. So we get back to the action here. The Americans still trailing by 7-1 here in the third period. Good performance by Czechoslovakia. 15:51 gone.
Well, obviously, Baka, having been the aggressor in that, he picks up the 4 minutes. Stevens gets 2.
So the Americans here with a chance to bring themselves a bit closer to that 7-goal scoreline of Czechoslovakia. Reichel, a cheeky little move as he brings himself into the center ice zone. Let's go, the shot. Blue bats it down, and Reichel gets it right back to his own team. Good ass. Pollock, Reichel missed it. Johnson's played well on defense, and the times that he has gone forward, he's looked positive. Staviana. Gudas taken out of the play. Reichel can't get it. Brown has it trickle over his stick. So both teams come out into the neutral zone. Norton gets it over. Pollock brings his man down, picks up the loose puck. Reichel can't get the stick on that. Fritsch over to the far side. Time ticking away for the Americans. The long shot, high of the target. Norton going up against the Czech attacker there. Number 21, Robert Hollick. Norton now, pace has slowed down considerably.
Well, it certainly has. Both teams are slowing things right down out here. Getting changes. Of course, there are men in the penalty box. Just trying to control the puck, look for a shot here.
Cole gets it back to Brown. Brown takes a weak shot. Hasek saw that one go by him. Stevens steps out on the ice. Well, the Americans now have a man advantage, but I fear it's much too late. Cole getting it over. Stevens, his shot is way wide of the target. O'Regan, what can he do? Taken out of the corner nicely. Norton pushes it back in. Czechoslovakia there to pick up the loose puck, and back they come. Crone dropping it back. Hasek getting it over. Crone couldn't get the pass back to Hasek. The backhander comes out, and the Americans now with Cole getting it up. O'Regan stops, tries to get it back, and that comes off his skate. Eventually, it comes all the way back to number 3, Dahlqvist.
Well, the Americans trying to get some kind of control here and get a couple of decent shots on this power play.
Crone comes to the rescue, bounces that off the woodwork.
Delayed penalty call here. The referee had his arm in the air. Now Hasek finally makes his move to go to the bench. And there's the call being made. A very blatant elbow in front of that net thrown by Jim Johnson. He's going to sit out 2 minutes for the Americans.
And there's the signal from the referee elbowing the call. The Americans picking up a lot of penalties in this game. It hasn't helped their cause at all. Johnson will sit it out now for 2 minutes. Time ticking away here. Less than a minute to go in the game. Both teams with a man in the box. Kuchera in the face-off circle. Wins the draw, gets it back to Serban. The long shot is high and wide of the net. Serban pushes that one back in and takes a shot for it. Reynolds goes after it and falls. Comes up with the puck. The Czechs showing that they too can be physical when required. O'Regan, a long pass up, no one there to pick it up. Reynolds goes after it. Hasek to Serban. Serban getting away from Reynolds and takes a shot from Miller. Goslin spins around and loses control. Reynolds now will try to do it on his own. Just a few seconds remaining. It's all over but the shouting. Kuchera takes a chop from Goslin. Backhanded right in front of the net. Baca steps on the ice. Gudas tries to take his man out. Miller comes in. There goes the buzzer to end the third and final period, and still players having a go at each other. The final score, Czechoslovakia 7, USA 1.
Well, it was a good tune-up game for the Czechs at the start of this to get their legs. All that experience paid off, and I'm sure they're going to carry it on through this tournament. The Americans have got a lot of homework to do.
Well, they really do, and they'll be praying that certain teams are eliminated from the Stanley Cup playoffs to get some boys over here to help them out. Okay, let's take a look at the results so far. Canada over West Germany. The Soviets against Norway 9-1. That was a bit of a runaway for them. The Swedes over the Finns 4-2. And as we just saw, Czechoslovakia against USA 7-1. So no real surprises there after day one. Let's take a look at the table. The Soviets on top. The Canadians are right there with them. The Czechs and the Swedes. The Finns, the Americans, the West Germans, and the Norwegians still looking for their first victories of the tournament. I have a feeling the battle for relegation will be between West Germany and Norway. So lots more ice hockey coming up on Wednesday, the 18th of April. West Germany go against the might of the Soviet Union. Keep your eye out for Pavel Bure, the star for the Soviet Union. He'll be there. It's going to be a good one. Well, until Wednesday, from Richard Beaupre and myself, Paul Ferguson, bye for now.